Good morning, Nigerians. We are here on ITV, your station of choice, broadcasting this day, 17th of June 2021, from Pape Hill, here in Abuja. This week, we have been engaged in so many things, some so beautiful news, some not too beautiful. We are going to be looking at those things this morning and examining them, one after another. However, we want to say this program is riding upon your favorite program this morning on ITV. And we will be also moving on the rider today, being Thursday, Nationalism and You. Nationalism and You presupposes that to build a nation like Nigeria, it is a duty for you and me. So we will be examining some certain issues from that platform. But before we move to that direction this morning, this week was heralded by public holiday to mark June 12, our Democracy Day. 22 years of democracy. Definitely, we have something to rejoice about. If nothing at all, that Nigeria is a member of international community of nations that is currently flourishing democratically. Our democracy have endured for 22 years. The choice of June 12 as a Democracy Day also is worth celebrating because it marks a spirit of national reconciliation. A spirit of national reconciliation. Reconciliation that reflected upon an election that was adjudged to be freest and fairest, that ought to be a foundation of our democratic practices. But that election was annulled. So the restoration of June 12, the recognition of the person of MKO Abiola who won that election is in the spirit, in the line of the spirit of national reconciliation. Those things are worth celebrating. Again, within the week, or running towards the president commissioned an ultra-modern train railway from Lagos to Ibadan. So the news about Nigeria is not always the bad news, but good ones are also coming in. That rail track will be of a great and immeasurable economic advantage to Nigeria and to the two states that have already been connected. A friend was telling me yesterday that I wish all of that we also connect the entire country, networking the entire country. And I said, be patient. We are expecting that. And we hope those, our leaders who have given us reasons to rejoice over the accomplishment of the Lagos-Ibadan rail, will also give us more reasons to rejoice as we continue to network our countries on rail. Odd one. Yesterday, the governor of Niger State warned, or rather stated that politicians are serving as informants to bandits. Wow. How could that be? How could that be? What manner of politician will serve? Elected politicians? Appointed politicians? No, 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 no. It is not the way to go. It runs contrary to spirit of nationalism and patriotism. What are you being a politician for? What are you politicking for? And that kind of a statement coming from such person, a governor of a state, is a reason for concern. And I want to say, if you are part of the politicians that are warehousing bandits in our butches in the name of warehousing thugs and bandits in our bushes, please repent. Nigerian expected a better service from you. Away from that, some of our statesmen and elites have been making some certain statements that causes panic in the society. It is not an appropriate thing for father to be causing dread and fear among their children. It is not a good spirit at all. Yes, as a nation, we have our challenges, particularly the issue of the security challenges, but they are not unsurmountable. Therefore, our leaders, statesmen, and opinion molders should take caution regarding their utterances. Our utterances should be that which promote faith, hope, and generate confidence in our country, particularly that which will help our youth and younger ones to continue to have faith in this great nation. This great nation, Nigeria, holds so much, not only for us as Nigerians, but for Africa and black people all over the world. Therefore, we should continue to demonstrate faith. All hands should be on deck that we may be able to overcome our security challenges and move ahead to that manifest destiny of our great nation, Nigeria. Away from that, within the week also, no other person than the chairman of the economic EFCC, he raised an alarm of some certain people threatening his life. We can only pray for him because we are not unaware that when you fight corruption, corruption is bound to fight back. May God continue to protect Mr. Chairman, and we can declare on behalf of him, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm, because he is anointed and appointed to do good to Nigeria, to fight down the monster of corruption, that we may have a better life to live. Coming from that same table, the AFCC also talked about how a minister, a serving minister, will house 20 million in the house, laundering money amounting to some $37 million on estate, and advanced $20 million cash. We are fighting corruption. Well, we are grateful that such a thing comes out, that the government in which the minister is serving dare to take such things to we the public. Though they have not mentioned the name of the minister to us, I normally say that there is no honor for thieves and criminals. In those days when we were growing up, if you stole a goat, a cow, or a tortoise, it will be tied on your neck. You will walk half naked on the street. so serve as a deterrent to others. So we are waiting for the unfolding of such things, because at this level, anyone serving in this government should understand that we have a Caesar as a president who dare to do things differently, who is an anti-corruption Caesar, and who will not tolerate corruption. Good work for the EFCC there. We can only say, don't rest on oar, because if there is anything causing all of these threatening security challenges we are experiencing as a nation, it cannot be totally divorced from the practices of corruption, entrenched corruption, and things of that nature. Lagos State scored a goal, another goal. Some months ago, some buses were burnt down, some terminals were razed down, but Lagos State government proceeded to launch also, or commission rather, an ultra-modern bus terminal. And when you take a look of that, you can say to yourself, this is not in London, this is not in United States, but the development, the outlay, the beauty of that commissioned arena compare favorably to what is obtainable in advanced nation. That is the path to go. Let us continue to have faith in our country, work together, behave in a manner that we promote the national cohesion that is necessary to build unity of purpose, which is also necessary for purposeful leadership. Let us, as citizens, continue to support our security forces, because the issue of security challenges that we are facing is a recurring issue so far, and on a daily basis, it continues to throw up itself. But like I said, it is not unsurmountable. Therefore, let all of us begin to give our security forces appropriate intelligence, support, and information that can help them, because they are not ghosts. They cannot be everywhere at the same time. So if we do this, we will be helping them a great deal. And let me say this again, that it is time that our leaders of industry, captains of industry, private sector, should get themselves fully involved in creating security architecture that can appropriately and confidently defend Nigeria, because the contemporary understanding of security issues transcend, or capacity to defeat current security challenges transcend the regimented structure. So even the army said this morning that, or yesterday rather, that gun alone cannot defeat the terror and the banditry that are ongoing. So all hands must be on deck. Captain of industries should invest massively alongside the government in a form of private government partnership, so that we can expand the numbers, the numerical strength of our military forces, the numerical strength of our police forces, the numerical strength of our SSS, their training, and all of that. If the private sector invests in this, they will also be doing themselves a very lot of good, because without that enabling environment for business and their practices to flourish, the business will be dwindling and the profit will not be forthcoming. But when the peaceful environment is generated by collective effort, so that we have appropriate numbers in numerical terms, policing the nation, appropriate numbers in numerical terms in our military, helping us to maintain the territorial integrity and internal security, stability, then the foreign investors, we have confidence in Nigeria, and we can begin to generate employment for our youth, constructively engage them, give them hope that will enable them to give peace to we that are their parents. All of these are things that we should take into consideration as a people of a great nation. Let us recreate that Nigeria nation that was the dreams of our founding father and of our collective aspirations and goals as a people. We are still here this morning on ITV, your station of choice. Don't go away and don't change that station, because we will be having 2 guests coming in thereafter. But before then, we will also be briefing you through the social media what are the trending things. Thank you very much. My name remains your host this morning, Ebenezer Oyetakin.
เขาจะได้อะไรถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวันเขาจะไม่ได้อะไรเลยไม่ได้รวยขึ้นไม่ได้ออกทีวีไม่มีใครรู้จักไม่ได้มีชื่อเสียงที่มากขึ้นเพราะสิ่งที่เขาได้คือได้แค่ความรู้สึกได้เห็นความสุขได้เข้าใจได้ความรักได้ในสิ่งที่เงินซื้อไม่ได้ ได้โลกที่สวยงามกว่าเดิมในชีวิตคุณอะไรคือสิ่งที่คุณต้องการมากที่สุด
So I met with a mentor of mine who happens to be a former congressman. I asked him, should I go to Ghana? Should I stay in America? And he said, yeah, I'll tell you one thing. You've done fantastically well in America, but America can do without you. But maybe your country cannot do without you. He spoke to my heart. I was ready to come. I went home and told my wife, we are going back to Ghana. He said, going back to Ghana after 26 years? Are you serious? Yes, we are going. And long story short, I found myself in Ghana. I ran for parliament, elected, and the president asked me to be a deputy minister for education. The president had a vision in Ghana to transform the education system, and that is why he asked me to come. He said high school should be free, and people were saying, how? It's impossible. He said it was possible. He handed the responsibility to us. The reason I'm bringing this up is this. When you have a determined president, everything is possible. You see, in education, there are three things that you have to do in order to transform it and make education relevant to the fortunes of your country. You have to look at access. You have to look at the quality of the education system, and you have to look at relevance of the education system. Then you are looking at quality through the reform of your curriculum. You see, the olden days where the teacher expected you to just memorize facts to him or her and you are the best student, it doesn't pertain anymore. If you do that, you are not going to change your country. Yeah, they will memorize it to you, but they walk into that company and the CEO is not expecting them to memorize and they fumble. The Brookings Institution recently did a study and it said that we, the developing countries, if we have to catch up with the rest of the world, the developed nation, is going to take 120 years. And they recommended that the countries that are going to do well are not the ones who are going to wait till they finish access and look at quality and then relevance. They said the countries that are going to do well are the ones that will tackle the issues of access, quality, and relevance at the same time. And that is what they call leapfrogging inequality. You can look at the book. If I look at the example of Brazil, the Embraer aircraft. It was a university that partnered with MIT and invented it. When can we create aerospace academies for students in primary 1 all the way to high school? Because that is what is done in America. When I was building schools, we are not waiting for the students to get to the university for them to understand aeronautical sciences. There are schools from KG to high school focused on aeronautical sciences, tapping talents of students who are interested in this field across the country. You will just not fly airlines, but you are going to have children who will be excited about transforming this country to do through the aerospace industry, and your children are going to build the airplanes that you'll be flying. In America, it will take me about 50% of my effort in the classroom as a mathematics teacher to get the student to pay attention to me. I go to Ghana, I walk into the classroom, the student will stand up for me, and they will not sit until I tell them to sit. The children of Africa are ready to learn. And if we don't get them to be the best in the world, it's not their fault, it's our fault. In the 21st century, our transformation is not going to be about the fact that we have coffee or cocoa. It's going to be about the fact that we have created creative minds around the country. For those of you who are not in education, I don't want to bore you with education jargons, but there's something called the Bloom's taxonomy. And now we have the new Bloom's taxonomy. The highest level of learning is when children create something, and not when they memorize facts. So when you look at the new Bloom's taxonomy, instead of telling the children in your classroom to talk about the effects of pollution and what causes pollution, those are good at the basic level, comprehension level. But you want your kids to be the best in the world, you are going to ask them to create a city without pollution. And that is where the ideas will come to the front. That is where great ideas will come. The future of Africa, the story of Africa will be different when we come together and partner together and work together. and know that Africa's fortunes lies within us. And there are things that we can do, of course, with support from our friends from other nations, but the future of Africa depends on us and is going to take bold leadership of African presidents and other leaders to turn the fortunes of Africa around, so that the story of Africa, when it's written, some of us will find our names in the appendices.
Welcome once again this morning on ITV, your station of choice. Certainly the best. And on the program, Nationalism and You. We are broadcasting from Pape Hill here in Abuja. My name is Ebenezer Oyetakin, your host. This morning we will be examining a very important topic. And this topic is derivable from the assertion of no other person than our amiable president, Muhammadu Buhari, in his response to some two state governors that visited him. According to him, he had said, "We kill the local governments, area councils." And this morning we are taking that topic. We kill the local government. What is the implication? What are the implications, rather? These are the things we are going to be examining. And we are having in the studio with me this morning someone who had been a secretary to a local government area council, a former commissioner for information and strategy at Adamawa State, Ahmad Saju, a man of many facets. Mr. Ahmad Saju, Nationalism and You.
Well, it is my duty and responsibility to build my nation.
Thank you very much. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. It is our duty and responsibility to build the nation. Local government area council. The president said, "We kill the local government area council." What is the implication of that statement?
First, who are the we? That's the first implication. Who are the we?
One will suppose he is talking to himself and the governors and whomsoever.
I think we should divorce sentiment from this discussion A lot of people find it very easy to either blame the local government operators or blame the state governments or whatever, and then begin to say local governments are not functioning because of ABCD. I think fundamentally we killed our local government system from the Constitution. The one paragraph that tries to guarantee the existence of local governments, in Part 2, Section 7, Subsection 1, says a system of local government under a democratically elected whatever is guaranteed by this Constitution. That's all the Constitution, the guarantee the Constitution gave. Then it now vested, the conduct, organization, tenure of its councils, finances, and everything in the State House of Assembly. That, for me, is where the problem is. There are no sufficient guarantees. In fact, the Constitution did not mention the local government as a third tier of government anyway. It's so fluid in the Constitution. The Constitution, for example, says a system of local government under a democratically elected leadership is guaranteed. But in most states, what we have are caretakers running the local government. Nobody had ever attempted to go to court to say, look, there is a violation of the Constitution at this level. Let us test it by law.
Why is it that there is no one who can take the governors or the state to court to say you are not allowing your local government area councils to function?
Because, of course, they just simply walk into the State House of Assembly and do every caretaker they set up is by the law of the State House of Assembly. They've never done it without the law of the State House of Assembly. And the Constitution says their functioning is by the law of the State House of Assembly. Simple.
From the arena at which the president uttered that statement that we killed the local government, it presupposes that he was discussing security concerns raised by some certain local government, which means that if the local government were functioning appropriately, it could have impacted positively in such a way that will minimize the security challenges that we are having. One has, with the way it was framed, that we had three tiers of government in Nigeria: the federal, the state, and the local government. The state has a paramount autonomy. The local government have a chairman in place of a governor, and they are having councillor as their own makers and things of that nature, which the councillor is supposed to stand in the place of the House of Assembly as we have in the state level. Why is it that there is this strong disconnect that is making the local government dysfunction?
What did we inherit? What did we inherit? We inherited the native authorities. The native authorities were the tiers of government, if you will, and we had a native authority police.
The native authority police?
Yes, that was functioning.
Were they equal to local government?
Yeah.
Okay.
The native authority was the local government then.
Okay.
We had the regions, we had the provinces, and we had the native authorities. And the native authorities were the closest tier to the people. They were the lowest tier. And we had the NA police, the native authority police. And they were involved in community policing effectively. Today we don't even trust our states with the police. So tell me, all this, when they call governors, I served in a state executive council for 4 years. I was part of the state security council at the state level. Perhaps, I keep telling people, perhaps either the only, or maybe at least less than 2 of us commissioners for information who were allowed to be part of the state security council. I understand that when they tell you that the governor is the chief security officer of a state, I laugh. Chief security who? He does not command the army, he does not command the police. He cannot even deploy policemen from one location to the other without talking to the commissioner of police, who must get permission from the IG. And you're telling me that the guy is the chief security officer? Chief security is about deployment. If I can't deploy, I am not in charge of security. Period. So if the governor is incapacitated in deploying security forces to go and counter a criminal activity, what of the local governments who don't even have any? They are not even guaranteed.
But some other people will disagree with you that the governors are not so helpless as you are portraying it to be, in the sense that the contemporary understanding of security issues transcend the regimental structures. We have the regimental structures which can be commanded by the commander-in-chief or any chief of security officer and things of that nature. But there are other issues that weigh heavily on preventing.
Like what?
On preventing.
Like what?
You know, you can prevent insecurity. You can massively prevent insecurity.
By doing what?
Through creating the environment.
Which environment? My friend, I am coming from an environment of security. I'm the one to tell you.
So why are the governors? Why are the governors collecting massive what do you call it, security votes every month?
Because every operation they have to involve the security agencies, they are charged for it. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Why are we vilifying governors when we know that the governors themselves, their hands are tied? Let's be honest. So if you want a governor to deploy or to meet with security chiefs in his state, he has to provide the resources. So he needs resources to provide for all these people to work. But they function at their discretion because their command structure is not at the state level. That's one. Two, in the years past, the traditional institutions had a role in security. Today, they don't even have a role at all.
So what you are saying in effect, if I understand you, is that the word "we kill the local government area council" is that it is the Constitution.
Is the Constitution, the operations of the Constitution. Let me give you an example. When we came to Adamawa State, 2015, when the government I served came into Adamawa State as the government of the state, one of the things we did was that we were witnessing suicide bombing almost on a weekly basis. We were witnessing incursions into our state from Sambisa and other areas almost on a weekly basis. And we didn't know what to do. So we had to establish a security network that helped us to curb it. How did we do it? We have 8 graded traditional rulers in Adamawa State. Below them, we have 107 district heads. Below the district heads, we have 718 village heads. Below the village heads, we had 8,113 ward head Mayangwas. We have vested all of them. And then decided to put every district head on 15,000 naira a month. Every village head on 10,000 naira a month. Every ward head on 5,000 naira a month. What are they supposed to use this money? Buy recharge card or whatever. We established a center, like a situation room, where they can make calls if they have a problem that involves security networking. We had the names, the numbers, and whatever. And within 6 months, we had stabilized our state.
You see what I was telling you? You have just come to the point that I raised, that it is possible to guarantee the security of a state, because you have just achieved that.
It is possible, but it is not possible using the local government structure under the current system.
So what is the way forward?
The way forward is for us to define the role and the functions of the local government in our constitution, or offset the issue of local government completely from our federal constitution and refer it back to the states to run it the way they feel is convenient for them. Then states where they feel that incorporating the traditional institution into the local government system can make the local government more effective, more functional, can guarantee functionality to the level of controlling the security, mitigating the security challenges, let them go ahead and do it. Look at what is happening in Zamfara. Almost, a reasonable percentage of some of the things that are happening in Zamfara involve traditional rulers. 2 have to be suspended. If we had a system that is all-encompassing in Zamfara, if the local municipal system of governance had taken into consideration, the roles of these traditional institutions, given them roles and functions, responsibilities, and makes them accountable to some extent, probably we wouldn't be where we are today. So we are just we're just living a lie, telling ourselves that we have a third tier of government, we have a local government system, when we don't really have a local government system. A local government, I told you what we inherited were a federal system. We had regions. Under the regions we had provinces. Under the provinces we had native authorities. These native authorities were the municipal governments, and they were in charge. I know in northern Nigeria, I don't know what happens in other parts of the country, but I know in northern Nigeria, the moment a stranger enters a community, the ward head must know. And he must inform the village head. The village head will inform the district head. The district head will inform the head of the native authority. So you know.
The officer, I remember when we were growing up, the officers of the native authority, as soon as they enter town, particularly those enforcing tax collections and the rest of it, you see people running and jumping into the forest and that kind of. It was so effective.
Because they knew, they even knew who is a taxpayer in a community, who is not. Today you have cancelled poll tax. You said you are being progressive. You've cancelled cattle tax. In those days, because people were paying cattle tax, you knew the cattle rearers or cattle owners that were resident in the community. So all these transhumans that come and pass from location to location, killing people, you would have known them. If you go to our neighboring countries, go to Cameroon. As you they waka for road, they go stop you. Say, mon frère, où est votre carte de l'impôt? Where is your tax receipt? Show it. Then in the tax receipt, they know where did you pay the tax. You are a Ebenezer or taking. You have paid in Benin, Oredo in Benin. We know. So you are here as a citizen who has moved from so and so. Should anything happen to you, or should you be involved in any crime, we know where to locate your place. We are not doing all the things the native authorities were doing to ensure that they had control over their populations. They could talk about their populations, they could relate to their populations. We have killed it. We have disconnected government completely from the public. The only connect between government and public is law enforcement. Law enforcement when government wants to enforce certain laws that benefit them. But certain responsibilities that benefit the people don't see it. We don't relate with the people at the level of citizenship. Okay, if you don't pay tax, you are a citizen of which country? Are you a taxpayer? We have abolished poll tax, we have abolished animal tax, we have abolished everything that would have given us a statistics of those that are living with us and those that are not living with us. Things that would have helped us to identify miscreants in our communities. We've all abolished all of that. But now you are talking about...
But some certain people, I have heard some certain people complaining that federal government is collecting tax, state is collecting tax, and local government is collecting tax, that there are too many multiple taxation.
The only people that pay correct tax in this country are workers. Period. Because workers have no option, they deduct from their salaries. The big businesses and corporations don't pay adequate tax. The ordinary people, citizens, don't pay tax at all. What are you saying? They're taxing businesses. Yes, small businesses are overtaxed, but that is because we have refused, to codify our system. You codify the tax system, you codify the local government system, you codify the security system, you codify everything. You give everybody responsibility. You are just telling me to tell you that I have a duty and a responsibility. What is that duty? What is that responsibility? We just talk in abstract, talk in concrete terms. You are a citizen. Okay, for being a citizen, you have to pay so much tax. And it is because you pay that tax that you can hit your chest and say, I'm a taxpayer. I deserve this this kind of service. Let me tell you, there are estates in this Abuja where the local government will go and ask them, we have come here to collect tenement rate. Do you know the first question you ask the local government? What have you done for us? And then they will disappear. There are no rights without responsibilities. There are no taxes without benefits. So because you don't pay tax, you don't benefit. Because you don't pay tax, you cannot challenge government for not benefiting. Legally, we have killed our system. So what I am trying to say is that we have not only killed local government, but we have killed the system, the governance system in the country at all levels. So the connect between our leaders and our citizens is that when they come home, for whatever reason, that they come once in a while, we all gather in their room. My wife has given birth. My child is sick. My mother is in hospital. We collect money from them. That's what we expect. But that is politics. That is not governance. The legislator who will come to Abuja and work for a school in his village or work for a hospital in his village, if he comes back for re-election, he will lose.
I'm not Sajo. We have 774 local governments
in the constitution.
In the constitution.
Yeah.
In the constitution. And I remember that the Lagos state government proceeded under Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu to create some more local government. I don't know how many they added to that in Lagos state. Though he was fought against, and the federal government under Obasanjo tried to nullify, but those things are still operating till tomorrow and things of that nature. One would have thought that what this meant is that, or rather means is that, the local government area council being the closest system of governance, or supposedly designed to be so, would have been that particular arm of government, tiers of government that impact positively on the people, and it underscores its necessity. So, what do we do to regenerate the functions of the local government, redefine the function of the local government? Can this come under the agitation, or realization of the agitation for restructuring?
Exactly. Exactly. Let me take you. Obasanjo withheld the monies for local governments in Lagos because Lagos created more local government, and the matter went to court. And the Supreme Court judged that the federal government had no right to withhold those things. That was an opportune moment for the government of Olusegun Obasanjo at that time to have developed, to have interrogated the local government system properly, developed an executive bill, and passed it to the National Assembly to amend the constitution to find a proper place for the local governments within our system. We didn't seize that opportunity. Now, what happens? It's only in the constitution you have 774. Every state in this country has created local government development areas, local development areas, or development area councils, or whatever, in whatever name. They are scattered all over the country. Meaning, it is the desire of states to be responsible for creating and managing their local government, just as is mentioned in the Constitution. The only encumbrance in the Constitution is that the Constitution mentioned the local government before saying the state should manage them. That portion of the number of local government, their names and numbers in the Constitution, should be expunged and thrown away. every state, if you think your state can cater for 100 local government, please go ahead. The only thing is that we have to have a benchmark. If we want to run a federation, there has to be certain benchmarks. For example, there has to be a benchmark with respect to minimum wage. It's a federal issue. Nobody should earn less than this. But states that are rich can pay more. Local governments, this is the benchmark for the operations of local government in Nigeria. If you know you can meet this benchmark, create 100. If you can't meet this benchmark, leave it as it is or create less. Merge some that are existing. What a federal system should do with respect to local governance is to just establish benchmarks. You don't, from Abuja, sit down and you are the one that gives money, you are the one that decides this, you are the one that said this. It's too much. What the federal government should do is to begin to divest itself of a lot of the bogus, humongous, responsibilities that it's carrying, to coordinating and ensuring that we have a federation that understands its roles and activities at every level and tier of governance.
Are you advocating the shedding of some of the, what do they call it, the concurrent list and the, what do you call it? The
legislative list, the exclusive list, the concurrent and the
exclusive list.
And the residual list. Nobody's talking about the residual list. The residual list is where the local government functions are domiciled in the Constitution.
The residual list.
The residual list.
Then the concurrent list deals with the state, while the exclusive list is for the federal government. Is the exclusive list too humongous for the federal government?
Too unwieldy, too, puts the federal government into so many things.
Are you advocating for devolution of power?
They should devolve powers, make the states more, stronger, and then give them more responsibility to run their local system, according to a particular benchmark. I am an advocate of the fact that whatever we're going to do, if we have to run as a federation, we must have certain benchmarks. And that is where, so coming to your point, we must strengthen the local government. One of the things we must do at the local government level is to make sure that the responsibility of the local governments for certain governance structures or activities at the local level are strengthened. And one of them is security. How much can we hold local authorities responsible for ensuring that they organize their communities in a manner that the communities can relate with them as a government? Because the whole crisis we are facing in this country is that there's a disconnect. If you are a citizen, you don't know how to relate with any tier of government. With any, and I'm being very honest with you. If you are not part of the ruling elite in this country, you cannot relate with any government. That's why
level.
Yes, that's why we design our constitution, indict ourselves, discredit ourselves by saying every state must have a minister, meaning that we have accepted ab initio in our constitution that a minister who is on a delegated mandate by a president who is elected by the entire country cannot function in the interest of the entire country. He has to start thinking like a representative of a community. Are we not indicting ourselves? Are we not saying we are incapable?
I have never seen it from that perspective.
No. Are we not saying we don't have people who can rise above the parochial cleverages of their communities? So for you to be remembered by the federal government of Nigeria, you must have somebody from your state on the executive council. Is that not an insult? Is that not an indictment of us as a people? Why would the president's constituency is Nigeria. He gave me the minister because I am on a delegated mandate on his behalf. So supposedly as a minister, my constituency is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But I cannot
I think they were trying to meet up the federal character requirement.
What is federal character? The federal character itself is an indictment. That we cannot establish a system that is anchored on equity, fairness, and justice until we are supervised to do so. Why can't we begin to? You ask me, I must pledge that I am going, it's my duty to build my country. How can I build my country when my thinking is I am from a particular location? How can I build my country? How can I even see myself as a citizen of a country when the entire focus of the country is looking at me from the prism of where I come from? It doesn't work that way.
But however you look at it, we are a citizens of the country, and as a citizens of the country, we have claims to some rights. And I am also somebody who believes that wherever there is rights, there must be responsibilities and duties.
I agree.
So therefore,
but
no one else will build it for us because we are dynamic human beings.
Country. Look, my friend, nationhood begins. Nationhood is a journey. You have to be a nation before you begin to be a citizen of a nation. And a citizen of a nation thinks of his nation first before any other thing. But here we are, forcing ourselves to start thinking about our localities first before our nation. And you want to build a nation that way. It's not possible.
Well, it is a call for us to reorder ourselves. And that we are dynamic human beings. I think it is possible for us to reorder ourselves so that we can begin to do little we can do at both individual level, communal levels, local levels, down to state level, then up to the federal level, do the right things at any time in order to ensure that nation building is our preoccupation.
I agree with you. I'm not saying no. Nation building presupposes that you have a nation that guarantees your freedom, a nation that protects your rights as a citizen, a nation that treats you with elements of equity, fairness, and justice. If you can get a nation that gives you all these guarantees, you are home dry. That kind of nation is the nation whose citizens are proud to belong to that nation. And I am telling you that in our constitution, in our operations, we have emphasized more on our natural fault lines, region, religion, and tribe, rather than things that make us more common.
Those things can be corrected. To amend the constitution in order to reflect or properly define the role of the local government, how cumbersome will it be?
It will not be, but define the role first. Define the roles, define who is in charge. Is it the state government that is in charge like it is in the constitution now? Then once you define the roles of the local government, you define who is in charge, you create minimum benchmark for everybody who is going to run local government in a state to follow, then you go ahead. What is difficult in a constitution is supposed to be a living document, a dynamic living document. It will be amended till the end of time. There is no one constitution that is so complete that it does not need to be adjusted. For example, I'm an advocate of the fact that the traditional institutions, no matter how defective you think they are, they have a role to play. Why can't we find a role for them within the local government structures and define it properly in the constitution? For example, presently, I don't know what happens in other states, but I know my state and I know a lot of the northern states. The traditional councils get a certain percentage of the monies that are accrued to local governments, for their operations. Mm-hmm. The laws of different states give them provides for that kind of situation. You deduct money from local government and you give the traditional ruler, but you have not defined the function for him. He has nothing, so he can collect that money and go and do whatever he likes with it. Marry other wives, or if he likes, go on jamboree if he likes, do whatever he likes with the money, because the law that says he should be given that money did not also say he must use this money for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So why would you have a system that provides for you and does not expect anything from you? And you sit down and you think that system can work? It's not working for the people, because we are distributing monies meant for the people to people who do not think that those monies even belong to those people.
This local government we are referring to, the ones in the Constitution, the 774,
74, yeah.
were created under the military regime.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Now, what is the problem? Why is it that the democratic government, our democracy have lasted 22 years running now and has been stable. Why is it that they find it difficult to restructure the Constitution in such a way to redefine the role of the local government and make the operation of the local government so effective for the benefit of the people in that region?
Number one is that there is no benchmark. The one paragraph that spoke about it said the system of local government under so and so is guaranteed. The State House of Assembly will do laws that will ensure A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all. There is no benchmark. Nobody says...
So what is stopping the democratic system from reordering it? This is 22 years. How long does it take?
That's what I'm telling you. Missed opportunities. Lack of political will. When Obasanjo had a clash with Lagos state government over local government funds, they went to court. When the court made pronouncement, that was an opportune moment for Nigeria to restructure her local government system. We didn't seize that opportunity. We didn't. Now, when we amended the constitution 2 or 3 times, we had the opportunity to have done the same. We didn't do it because everybody pays lip service to this issue of local government. Everybody pays lip service to this issue of a role for traditional institutions. We must now face those 2 issues very squarely. We must face the issue of local government very squarely. We must face the issue of traditional rulers very squarely. Create a role for them. If they will collect money from the state must expect something from them. Because those monies belong to the people of the country. You can't give somebody money and you don't give him a responsibility.
Thank you very much, Ahmed Sajo. The issues of the local government, we kill them. The implications can
we can revive them.
It cannot be exhausted. It cannot be exhausted in a day. We will continue to look for the opportunity to ensure that there is effective governance of Nigeria from the federal level to this local government level. The people should feel the impact of governance so that we can continue to defeat our security challenges, particularly, which are some of the implications of...
I think what we need to address is our developmental challenges. Once we are able to address our economic challenges, our developmental challenges, we would have developed, you know, a satisfied citizen. There will be less attraction to crime and criminal activities. Presently, what attracts people to crime and criminality, 90% of it is the injustices in the system and the hopelessness in the ordinary people. Well, if you can address these injustices, if you can address the hopelessness in the well, you would have controlled crime.
Your final words to Nigerians.
My final word to Nigerians is that the government must serve the people at all levels, federal, state, and local government, and then the people must demand to be served. We're too complacent. We're too laissez-faire. We don't care. We've given up. We're despondent. And that is why everybody can ride on us.
Thank you very much. You are welcome, Ahmed Sajo.
Thank you.
No one could have done it better than you have done. We hope you will avail us your person again when we call upon you. Nationalism and you.
Thank you. Anytime.
You're most welcome. Don't go away. We are still on that program, Nationalism and You, and we are going to be having our next guest in the next few seconds. He is the national president